So I'm back with my procedure. I went and talked to my teacher about the steps in my process and my procedure and how I was going to carry out my experiment. And we talked about the fact that in my first trial, I had planned to start recording the length of time that students could focus starting at the beginning of the lesson and going until at least 20 of them were no longer paying attention. So when I hit the mark where 6 students were no longer focused, I was going to stop the time. However, in trial 2 and trial 3, I was going to have the students participate in the lesson for 20 minutes before allowing them the brain break, and then start recording their focus time after the brain break. So for my students in trial 1, I was starting at the very beginning of the lesson and timing from there. But in trial 2 and 3, the students had already been involved in the lesson for 20 minutes before I started recording their focus time. So I need to go back to step 1 and I need to think about this and how this could affect my results. So what we've decided would be the better way to go about my first trial would be to have students seated in their desk and then begin the lesson. And then after 20 minutes, because because my students can focus for 20 minutes, after that, I am going to start recording the time. So that way, I know that all of my students have already been asked and required to focus for 20 minutes on the lesson. And then see, okay, so after 20 minutes of the lesson, then how long can they focus after that if they don't have a brain break? Or, how does that affect? So have students seated in their desks. I can actually make this part of step 1, begin the lesson. Then my step 2 would be to start the timer after 20 minutes. So this now is going to become a messy, scratchy thing because I'm not going to go on and erase everything and rewrite. This is my workbook. This is where I'm, just planning everything, getting it out. When I put things on my board, when I put things in my simple report, that's where I'm going to really make my final adjustments and make everything look good. But right now, I'm just going to make sure I have this down. So for now, I'm going to cross that out. So I'm going to have students seated and begin the lesson. So step 2, let's see how I want to fix this. So I'm going to go up here and write my step 2. I can say, let's see, begin lesson. Teach 20 minutes of the lesson. Then I will start the timer for step 3, start timer, and time how long 20 of the 25 students can stay focused. Okay, so it's always important when you talk to your teacher, then you will be able to find these things that maybe you didn't think about when you were writing your procedure, things that maybe could make a difference in the outcome of your results, things that you're changing without realizing that you're changing. So now if I have students seated at their desks and begin the lesson, teach for 20 minutes of the lesson, and then after 20 minutes, begin timing how long they can focus, that is more consistent with what I'm going to do in trials 2 and trials 3 by having the students seated, beginning their lesson. After 20 minutes, I'm giving them the brain break. Then I'm asking them to focus again. So this will make my experiment flow more and my results will be more accurate.